Welcome to Jamie TV, where we do not pissy pants about. Now, BLEASS have just released a phaser for iPad and iPhone, and the whole iOS community gets rather giddy when there's a new BLEASS app about because they're always excellent. But for me, this may be the best one yet. I've never had a phaser that gave me so much control over the possibilities of phasing and sounded so good. And it comes coupled with this incredible visualizer. It gives you a fabulous on-screen representation of exactly what's happening with the effect. And it also helps you to understand exactly what's going on, even though this phaser can give you incredible control over a great many aspects of phasing. It sounds great on synths and it sounds great on my stringed instruments. Check this out. That was the Octopussy, my 8-string bass guitar, which was converted from a regular 4-string V90 vintage bass guitar by none other than Trevor Wilkinson. Check out the headstock on that. I did make a video about this bass about 5 years ago, like when I was really terrible at making videos. I'm not saying I'm good at it now, but then I was really pants. So if you'd like to hear a bit more about this bass, I'll put a link to that terrible old video up here. Okay, so back to the BLEASS phaser. We'll have one more playing example and then we'll get stuck into how it works. Okay, so here we are in Cubase 3. I've got some MIDI piano here, which I would like to be white, but Cubase won't allow me to use white, so it's green. I'm using the awesome Ravenscroft on the concert preset with the reverb switched off. Let's just close this column here. Okay, I'm going to activate the phaser. Now, phasing is created by taking the original signal, in this case the piano, and feeding it through a series of all-pass filters. And then that process signal is played alongside the original signal to create some phase cancellation. Think of this notch here in the center of the visualizer as being at the center of that phase cancellation, the eye of the storm, if you like. Now we can make that move by using this LFO over here. So let's just turn up the amount and see that notch move. Now this is set to sync to beat. So no matter how I change the rate here, it will still move in time to the track. And we can go from snail pace through to ludicrous. And I do like ludicrous. But let's just knock that back a little for now. And we can change with this LFO where the frequency is sitting, the frequency of the phaser is sitting in the stereo picture. That's going to be very effective later on. Let's just center it for now with a double click. All right, now feedback. We can come up with some really cool phasing sounds by taking some of that processed signal and feeding it back through the all-pass filters, and that will sound like this. And here, this color control, this is a low-pass filter that affects the sound of the feedback. So if I drop this back, we really darken up that feedback sound. But we can also really brighten it up. And this control, I think, will be very useful when using this phaser in a mix. Frequency changes the frequency at which those all-pass filters that are essentially creating this sound, the frequency at which they are operating. And now I've got some feedback, you can hear this more effectively. And we could also venture into the slightly insane sound of negative feedback. I really love this. Now, something I've never been able to do with the phaser before is to introduce more notches. And the spread control allows us to move these notches further apart. Now let's just have a few more notches. Okay, now over here we have the spread LFO. I'm going to just dial this in. Now I think I forgot to mention that the frequency LFO we can change the shape of between sine and triangle. And we can also do this with the spread. I kind of like it with the spread on triangle and frequency on sine. Also, both LFOs we can dial in a speed freehand. In fact, let's do both of them. So by hand I can dial in the rate of the spread and the rate of the frequency. Okay, now let's move this spread to the right hand side in the stereo picture. See what happens in the visualizer. See what I mean about this visualizer. Every single thing you do with this interface, the visualizer does something that gives you a great graphic representation of what's going on, and it really helps you to understand what's actually happening sonically. Alright, we'll take the frequency over to this side of the stereo picture. Okay, now I think I've covered what all of the controls do apart from, oh yes, the depth. If I dial the depth out, this is basically a dry wet mix control. We'll take it all the way down, and as you can see, the visualizer becomes more and more transparent as you do. Okay, so before I leave this alone, let's just create a few mad sounds. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, I really appreciate it. And when the apps are this good, the videos really are just a joy to make. If you have any questions about the app or anything else, anything you like, comment below the video, I always reply. And down below the video you'll find links to my website, Bandcamp, Patreon, social media, ways you can help to support the channel if you wish to do so. Until next time, take care of yourselves, make lots of music, be good people, be kind to each other, and don't piss your pants about. See you later.